And welcome back, guys. It's Maverick here with another episode of Code Geass. So, we left on a big cliffhanger last episode where the big guns are being brought out, right? And the big bro of the family has shown up. Seems like a pretty swell guy, right? Shoot first, ask questions later. Or actually, with his personality, I'm not quite sure if he is going to ask questions later. He strikes me more of the just shoot and be done with it kind of guy, honestly. But anyways, that certainly throws a whole new factor into this current story. You know, like I said, the big guns are out. Lelouch, I mean, is getting noticed, and apparently some more powerful individuals have decided to take matters into their own hands. We are also revealed a little bit about maybe, a bigger backstory in regards to the entire Britannian Empire and whatnot. We see the Emperor, we see supposedly something or someone that the Emperor actually holds in high regard as well. And, well, maybe we will reveal more of that within this episode, right? So, with that being said, let's get into it right now. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. And also, how did they actually survive that? Like, even if Lelouch used Geass on Suzaku at the very end. And where are you right now? If I were to venture a guess, I would say it was because of C2? Probably? I don't really see how anyone else could have helped in that situation. Like I said, I don't see how Lelouch using Geass on Suzaku would have helped in that situation. You know, the more you listen to this song, the more it really grows on me. There's something to be said about such a sort of raw kind of rock sound. Like, again, it reminds me a lot of the 90s, 2000s garage rock and whatnot. Alright. Island of the Gods? The heck? This island? So they were basically... So I guess they were all teleported. No, oh, we actually... No. Damn. Well, I guess this is the... Alright. Ooh! Okay.
知らないんだね。
どうして？
やっぱりか。
引っ掛けたの？
正体を隠しているよりマシさ。君はどうしてゼロに従うんだい？
さあね、自分で考えたら。
Yeah.
ルルーシュなのでしょ？
Holy sh... What?
本当です。だから私を撃つ前にせめて。
Wait, so did Lelouch not use Geass on Yuffie the last time they met? Oh damn, it's this pose. Okay, this is interesting. Yeah, they basically mass teleported or something. I'm guessing courtesy of C2. I do wonder whose authority is higher, Cornelia? Or her bro?
君らが作るものは皆興味深いからね。つい実現したくなるんだよ。ハドロン法もまずやってみないとね。
Hadron Cannon?
一度お会いしたかった。セシル・クルーミーさん。私は
As in...
貴様、大名字殿下を見下ろすなど失礼であろう。
As in Hadron Collider?
ありませんか。シュナイゼル・エル・ブリタニアです。さあ、お手をどうぞ。もったいない。すっかり忠義者ですね、将軍。本来なら今頃タンブル島の地下深くに繋がれていたはずの私を救ってくださったのだ。そんなに固く考えないでくれないか。今回の件は君のおかげだし、クロビスのこともある。礼を言うのは私の方だ。我が君。バトレ。では、セシル嬢。失礼。
Well, aren't you smooth?
じゃあ君は基地で待ってて。
どちらへ？
野望よ。ついでにスザク君も探してくるから。このアバロンで。彼、得難いデバイサーだから。昨日みたいな活躍見ちゃうと特にね。
待ってください。昨日の命令は殿下が？
控えよ。それ以上は不敬罪に当たる。私です、セシルさん。ハドロン法もね。あの状況でも忘れてはならないことは優先順位です。そしてイレギュラーが起これば彼が助かる可能性もあった。そこにかけたのです。ユフィの騎士であり特派の重要なパイロットであるクルルギスザクに。
はい、わかりました。無礼をお詫びいたします。処分はいかようにでも。
まさか部下を守れない私が悪いのです。申し訳なかった。いつから気づいていた？
ホテルジャックの時。
そうか。あの時は思わず言い過ぎたよ。
でも確信したのは今さっき。
甘いな俺も。しかしなぜコーネリアに相談しなかったんだ？
お姉様は私の言うことなんか。それにそれ以上に悲しくて。ナナリどうしてる？
一緒に暮らしている。でも体の方はまだ
憎んでいるんでしょうね。
一つだけ教えてくれ。君は母が殺された事件について何か。
ごめんなさい。でもお姉様はいろいろ調べているみたい。マリアンヌ様はお姉様の憧れだったから。私も聞いていいかしら。
Why are you doing this?
あなたはゼロ？
Did you kill Clovis, Nissan?
ルルーシュだよ。あ、今ここにいるのは君の知っているルルーシュだ、ユフィ。
ルルーシュ。安心したらお腹が空いちゃいました。
You know, I think it has been implied that, you know, Cornelia and Yuffie were quite close with Lelouch and Nunili.
アレンジを加えるチャンスだ。
へえ、うまいもんね。
Well, technically, you're a prince as well.
気をつけるんだぞ。
Look at you having his little smile there. Aw, that's kind of cute, actually. Alright. So, one's looking in the air, one's looking in the sea.
やはりこれ以上この海域にとどまるのは危険だ。引き返そう。なあ。いいえ、あくまでここにとどまりゼロを探すべきです。確かに。だが、捜索隊すら出せない状況。ラクシャートのおかげで隠れていることはできても、もはやゼロやカレンが生存している保証すらない。一歩間違うと、組織の存亡に関わる。何を言うのです。逆です。ゼロあっての私たち。ゼロがいて、初めて組織があるのです。
Oh, that is an interesting.
実にブリタニアらしいな。ではお聞きしたい。ここには様々な主義主張の人が集まっています。しかし、曲がり
Yeah, this is an interesting debate here.
結果が出ているからでは。そしてその結果を出しているのは誰なんですか。結果は認めよう。しかし、全員の命と比べられるのか。時として、一人の命は多くの民より重い。元軍人なら常識のはずです。ここでそれを言うか。
仕方ない。教えてやろう。あいつは生きているぞ。
願望を聞いている暇は。
確定情報だ。私にはわかる。
予言者がお前は。んなことよりナイトメアの練習しとけって言ったろ、このダオ。
ダホ？久しぶりだぞ。私に向かってそんな口の利き方をしたやつは。
なんだ偉そうにゼロの愛人だからって。
違うと言っただろう。ゲスな発想しかできん男だ。
俺が言いたいのは幹部に向かってだな。
ちょっと待ってくれ。話がそれてる。ともかくこうしよう。ブリタニアの警戒網の外、安全な海域ギリギリでとりあえず明日いっぱい待つっていうのは。
He is the second in command after all.
よかろう。仕方ありませんね。
まったく、お前のいたずらのせいでつまらん男と会話を。カレンまであの島に？趣味が悪いな。観察者を気取って。
What is with your split personality, C2? Is that why you're called C2? Because there's two of you?
どうしたの？美味しいのに。明日にはできると思いますよ。
This is such an interesting.
そうよ。文句ある？
いや、学校にいるよりよっぽど生きてる人にいるよ。
Okay. I think this episode is hilarious. I love it.
今ならまだ。捕まったテロリストの末路は悲惨だよ。
やけにぬるいと思ったらそれが本音？おあいにくね。私はゼロの親衛隊隊長よ。ナイトメアであんたとも戦ったわ。
あの赤いやつ。
そうよ。差し違えてでもいつかあんたの白兜を仕留めてみせるわ。
彼のやり方では未来はないよ。
ならあんたの未来は支配体制の犬になってただ生きてるだけ。名誉ブリタニア人、第三皇女のナイト様。最後の侍、クルルギゲンブの名がなくね。私は違う。この間違った世界を変えてみせる。じゃないと。そうじゃなきゃ兄さんが受か
Oh,
らない。
it's because of your brother.
私は戦う。勝つためなら手段は選ばない。
So quite similar to Zero or Lelouch.
父を殺したんだ。父は自決したんじゃない。僕が殺したんだ。この手で。
星は変わりませんね。あの頃のまま。昔、みんなで見上げたあの星空と、あの頃のままでいられたら、どんなによ
So that was Yuffie in that picture. Not Cornelia, though.
戻れないのですか。
そうだね。戻れたらどんなにいいだろうね。ゼロは僕の父と同じだ。世界は自分を中心に存在していると思っている。だから多くの人の血が流されることを承知で。
だから今を受け入れろって。そんなのが平和なの？命よりも大事なものってあるでしょ。
は知っているんだ。間違ったやり方で得た結果が何を残すか。行き場のない虚しさと後悔だけだって。
じゃあ教えてよ。お兄ちゃんが生きていた意味って何？間違ってるとか正しいとか誰が決められるっていうのよ。
And Lelouch certainly at ends is like
俺自身が生きるためにもみっともなくあがいて生きる意味を探し求める。醜いな俺は。
oh, is that it?
君が生きているならこの上根島に流れ着いているはずだけど。
明朝から捜索隊を出します。
Let me guess. They're going to exchange at the very end.
途中で新宿事変は
やっぱりクロビスはこういうことに向いていたんだな。
Yeah, they're gonna meet each other at the very end. But actually,
その明かりって本当に見たの？
あ、捜索隊だろうね。
yep.
確認した上で対応を決めよう。
対応。
Fought elevator. Isn't that what the Emperor's building?
でもね、僕の専門とは違いすぎて、こんなことならセシル君に頼めばよかった。
そんなに嫌がらないでくれよ。父君もこの手のものにご執心らしくってね。そうなんだろバトレー。
はい、同様のもの
Right. There's definitely something supernatural about this entire thing.
を除き、全てが天力
And probably has to do with C2 as well.
各国に対しての進行計画はこれらのポイントに沿って行われているものかと。
で、そんなオカルトのデータ解析にガウェインのドルイドシステムを使うんですか？まだ未調整の試作機を。
That one, eh? Holy shit. That's like twice as big as the other nightmares.
この辺りだと思うんだが。
ルルーシュ、捜索隊がいたらこの時間も終わりなの？
仕方ないさ。こんな頼りない騎士がお供じゃ食事すらね。それにクルルギスザク、君の本物の騎士は彼のようだから。聞いていいかな。どうして名誉ブリタニア人を？
それは。
なぜあの二人が？
スザク。
ユーフェミア様。動くな。彼女は私の捕虜だ。
ゼロ。
ここは私に合わせろ。そこにいる私の部下を返してもらおう。人質交換だ。ゼロ。お前はまた近づくな。卑怯だというのかね。いかなる犠牲を払おうともテロリストを排除する。君もこのルールにこだわり主を見捨ててみるかい。その矜持ももはや破られたというのに。
おやめなさい。黙ってろ。お人形の公女が一人じゃ何もできないくせに。構いません。スザク、私のことなど気にせず戦いなさい。
公女殿下、今ならこの石頭だ。
Okay. And it just so happens that they're they're there at the same time. Okay. And they just happen to.
ユーフェミア様もおられる。確保だ、確保しろ。
ゼロ、あそこにナイトメアが。
よし、あれを使うか。行くぞ。
はい。スザク。 スザク、どうしました？
What? I guess that. I guess that's what. That's a sort of hint that Lelouch gave to Suzaku.
彼がゼロか。ああ、ガウェインが。
You guys are seriously incompetent. But now that Callan has shown her face... Well, I guess it doesn't really matter much if... And why do you suddenly... Okay, how do you effing know all the capabilities of this nightmare just like that? Oh well. Okay, we have Gundams now.
それでは予定通り。クルルギスザク少佐、第2級軍規違反の容疑で逮捕します。
お待ちなさい。彼は私の騎士。そのような。
後で何とかしてあげるか。とりあえず今は。
何が。
王妃と連絡がついた。このまま外洋で合流する。
はい。それとグレン錦は。
回収済みだ。朝比奈と千葉に礼を言っておけ。
はい。
スザク、すまない。お前にだけは使うつもりはなかったのだが。
Live? Huh.
どうやってランスロットから出たのかは知らんが、ゼロを始末する千載一遇のチャンスを自分の命を惜しんで不意にした。抗弁する気はあるかね。
本当に自分が。
これ以上はない命令違反だ。
クルルギが。
はい、詳細は不明ですが。
まったく石川の制圧が終わったと思ったら。
殿下、
今度はなんだ。
九州ブロックの関門大橋が破壊されました。
何。
他4カ所で陸路が、さらに限界灘に強襲揚陸艇が。
Okay. Chinese Federation?
中華連邦か。しかし宣戦布告は。
いえ、それらの艇体には。
Oh no, Japan? Really? There are more resistance forces? Or is that just a ruse? Alright, let's see you guys after this. Okay, this is a fun little episode here. I gotta say, I actually really like this sort of partner switch-up situation, you know, with Lelouch with Yuffie, and then Suzaku with Callan here, right? Because, you know, switching it up, allowing them to basically see the other side of things, and so on and so forth. I guess not so much Yuffie's side, since she does know what Lelouch is going through, and I guess she probably has a pretty good idea of why Lelouch is actually doing these kinds of things. Whereas, you know, Suzaku and Callan, you know, they get to know each other's respective opinions a little bit more. Even if they don't agree with it, it's certainly nice to know about it, right? And not to mention, you know, the entire reversal. I did like the humor here, right? With Suzaku being this basically, you know, he's the grunts guy, right? So he's really he's very well equipped to deal with this kind of situation and whatnot, whereas Lelouch is definitely more of a brains guy, so he's struggling to handle this sort of situation here. And then the sort of contrast between those two, I did really love it. It was quite funny to me. Beyond all that, we also get, I guess, two pretty interesting challenges at I guess philosophical things, if you will. Well, the first one, in terms of, again, the entire Suzaku situation versus the sort of Callan situation, and, well, essentially the ideology between Suzaku and Lelouch here, right? I think we've talked at length about that already, don't need to really go on. You know, too long didn't read, or I've mentioned this numerous times in my reviews already, but I do agree with Suzaku is doing, but it definitely feels much nicer to do things Lelouch's way, right? That's basically my premise of this entire thing. And beyond that, it was also a pretty interesting discussion back at the Black Knights as well, right? Is, the leader of the organization more important than the people of the organization itself? Because that's a really, that's a really common question, actually, in a lot of these sort of organizational kind of stuff. And both sides bring up good points, right? Has the Black Knights evolved into something bigger than Lelouch at this point? I would actually say probably no, right? I mean, what are they all united by to really think of it? I guess predominantly, it's probably still much more of a Japanese rebellion force than more than anything else. So I guess perhaps you could say that the organization has outgrown Lelouch already. I mean, I'm definitely not saying that they're just going to leave Lelouch to die, but could the Black Knights actually survive on without Lelouch there? Probably, right? Especially at this point where there is organizational structure. It's quite an ironic thing, right? And definitely it's something that I've struggled with understanding until really being out and working for quite a few years already. But the whole goal of creating organization, of creating these rules and systems and whatnot, is to ensure that the organization can continue to live on even if you remove key members within the organization, right? That is a successful organization here. Essentially that is the main crux of the problem here with the Black Knights as well. Have they gone fully operational enough? Are they organized enough that they can continue operations even without Lelouch now, even without Zero? I'd actually say yes, right? Although obviously they'd have much more limited success and whatnot, losing their main tactician, not to mention he has a supernatural ability, but at the very least, right, they would still be able to ride on what they've done so far and turn into the Japanese Liberation Forces Mark II, right? That's the worst case scenario that they could be here, considering that most of the people are probably still sympathizers towards Japanese. All right, disregarding the intelligence media guy, the Britannian, basically. Beyond that, what else was I guess the sort of thought elevator kind of thing. So I think with this, it does confirm that there is something supernatural going on here, and the Emperor definitely is reporting to a power perhaps even higher than powers on Earth, right? Just more divine powers, if you will. And that probably has a little bit to do with what C2 is actually as well. What powers does she possess? I would be, just to put out, some wild guesses or whatnot, there could be a sort of deity, some sort of divine being here, and perhaps C2 is sort of like, I don't know, like a shaman, right? Or a practitioner of this fate or whatnot, blessed by the gods, if you will. Oh, well, actually, yeah, this kind of ties back into the title of this episode, right? Which is Island of the Gods or something like that. So that does seem to make a lot of sense. Heck, maybe C2 is a god herself, or a god, or a sort of like a divine being on Earth, something of that sort. That could also be possible. I certainly wouldn't rule out that possibility. Oh, and by the way, I found it pretty funny that the Black Knights view C2 as basically Lelouch's lover, right? Because honestly, that's what I was thinking as well. Back at, I think it was last episode, right, where they showed the entire organization of stuff and whatnot. And I mean, think about it, right? If you did not know who C2 was, right, you're not a viewer like us who knows she has these supernatural powers and whatnot, that would obviously be what you're thinking, right? That girl probably is Lelouch's lover or something of that sort, because hey, she's able to walk around, she's able to be here at this place even though she doesn't have any specific skill or any specific role or position, and yet she's also able to enter Lelouch's quarters, private quarters, and potentially also know who Zero's true identity here, right? So I was actually going to comment on that last episode, just seeing C2 lounge about with Lelouch, even though they were at the Black Knight headquarters and whatnot, but it was kind of a trivial thing. But I do love that they actually bring it back in this episode and make a comment on it, right? So I think that's pretty much it, and also quite an interesting order that Lelouch gave to Suzaku here. I do wonder how much that is going to affect future things, right? Because the only thing is live, right? Survive on. That's definitely going to throw in more complications into Suzaku and what he already wants to do already. It really depends on how he eventually is able to twist it, right? Is he able to twist those words to suit him instead? I could argue that at the end you can make some sort of explanation in your head that I need to survive in order for me to carry out this greater ideology, right? It's greater than everything else. I need to survive in order to push this along, with his ideology, of course, being resorting back to a system. And that's quite funny, right? I go back to this system again because we're talking about the Black Knights, but in a sense you could talk about the entire Britannian Empire as well, right? Like, could the current Britannian Empire survive if the Emperor is gone? Hard to say, right? Hard to say. I would in fact argue that perhaps with the current Britannian structure, what will happen instead is that the entire empire will be fragmented, with each of the stronger princes and princesses all holding their own faction. We would probably break into civil war or something of that sort, right? So you definitely have to change the entire system and gradually change it into something where that will not happen. And so in a way you could say that Suzaku is embodying this as well. It's just that now with Lelouch's command on him, live, how far can he actually embody it, and what is he going to do when trying to carry out his his goal, his mission, his ideal is going to be at odds with his own personal safety, right? That's definitely something interesting to look on in the future as well. And well, we'll see about that, right? Currently, if we just look at the status quo, hey, the Lelouch, the Black Knights, just got a shiny new toy to play with. The Britannians, well, they also got some shiny new technology or archaeological digs, or I don't know, ancient technology or something of that sort, right? On their side as well. So both sides are progressing, right? Both sides are progressing. As for the attack at the very end, are they actually Japanese? Are they actually the Chinese Federation? Don't know. I highly doubt that the Japanese are able to pull out a force out of nowhere. So I would, unless they were all originally hiding in foreign waters instead, and now they are returning, right? I guess that could be a possibility. But in any case, that's it for episode 19 of Code Geass. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.